Question 1. The riverfront is a very important asset to Hopewell. How are you going to work to develop the waterfront?
I would personally build more slips down to Hopewell Yacht Club, covered slips. Currently we have a yacht club that is our marina that is predicated to the helping the trailable boats, and 99.9% of those boats that come in do not pay taxes to City of Hopewell on the car or the boat. They buy the gas wherever they can get it the cheapest, pick up any groceries probably or any food at one of the local fast marts that closest to their home, and then they come into Hopewell and they leave. And the boats that are under a covered slip pays a minimum of $225 a month for each slip. So if a person uses the ramp, they pay $8 for that, and if you use it for all 4 weekends of the month, that's $64. How do you possibly equate $64 with $225 or $250 a month with people who do pay taxes in Hopewell and buy groceries on their boat in the summertime when they spend even a month on their boat? We could build 2 covered slips, 2 covered sheds for $150,000 each. That's $300,000. The revenues would be $48,000 each on each one. So the investment at $96,000 a year would pay for itself, for each one, would pay for itself in 2 years.
Question 2. The East Broadway Bridge has been closed since April due to a failed inspection. Several meetings have been held and residents in that area are unhappy with the response of the city and the lack of any action. What do you think the solution to the bridge should be, and how will that be funded?
If I was on council, I would go ahead and fund the bridge. I would build it, taking the money out of the capital improvement fund or out of the $8 million undesignated fund that they have currently. I would build the bridge. I would take a good look at it. It is a steel bridge. My understanding is it has to be completely replaced. I know that there's some council members or the administration that feels that there are 2 other egresses onto the property by going all the way to the end of the road, which is out of the way, that they come by the City Point area down at the bottom by Appomattox Manor, or they come by the fire department direction. However, I think that the bridge really should be built. I understand that they're considering a walkway or maybe a bicycle path and leave vehicles out. But I would suggest that you could build it by making it a totally wooden bridge. Would probably last 50 years until something is decided to done at a much cheaper cost.
Question 3. How can we bring more jobs and industry to Hopewell?
That's going to be very difficult, especially in industry, because the ethanol plant was allowed to have the whole property over there, which was a total about like 102 acres. When I was on council, my initial plan was to, and still is, it's been changed now because of the ethanol plant, was to market the whole 102-acre site out all over the world. It would have been a perfect site for somebody in the auto building industry, the farming implement industry to come to Hopewell, because we have all of the assets. We have the waterways, the ports, we have international airport, we have all the major highways coming through here. We have we have a right to work law. We have good educational system around it. What company wouldn't want to build a nice plant there with 2,000 or 3,000 employees and walk out the gate and be able to go to lunch, to the municipal building, to the law office, or to do some shopping? It was a perfect setup. But with the ethanol plant like it is, the best thing we can do is work in a partnership with current industry, as I did as chairman of the wastewater committee for 12 years. I worked with the plant managers to work an agreement with them to jointly work to expand their plants, whether it is additional tax incentives or whatever, to create more jobs.
Question 4. How do we need to continue to develop retail in downtown Hopewell?
That's going to be a very difficult job, a very difficult thing to tackle on, because what brings people to Hopewell and what helps our housing stock, and they both kind of go hand in hand. No big rooftop or red rooftop or a mall like Macy's or something is going to locate in Hopewell because of the quality of the homes we have, and quite a bit of it is rental homes. That they feel that they don't have the market there. The people just don't have the money to spend at these higher price and in stores. But what we could do, though, is provide tax incentives and tax abatements to encourage them to move into Hopewell and make that a joint effort. And that would also take improving our housing stock. I would recommend that the city buy these houses in a certain plot of land in a certain area, one by one, rent them out, and then when they own 100% of the houses of that plat, level the houses, put first-class retail in there, or either upscale apartments to bring more of our middle class back to Hopewell.
Question 5. City Council has been working to continue to beautify and clean up the city. What further efforts do you think need to be done in code enforcement to continue to clean up Hopewell?
I think the biggest thing that could help us would be to let code enforcement do their job. What we have right now is a 7-member council, and it's characteristic of councils. Each will have their own ward that they got to look after, and each have complaints whenever code enforcement try to do something. And it's the old NIMBY system, not in my backyard. And unless the council keeps their hands off of administration, let all the department heads do their job. And if they do their job, guess what? Best way to get rid of a bad law is to enforce it. And if you enforce it and you get enough outcry from the public, then you can always repeal it. The other thing I would do is to give, at least on a monthly basis, call a homeowner that made his property or her property look really good, bring them down to council for a proclamation to be presented by the mayor and the council members each month, recognizing them for their effort.